That seemed evil. What is this? This just feels cringy. Someone made this and thought this looked cool? What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben and today I'll be reacting to the Acolyte episode 3. Now, so far this show has been kind of messy, but I would say the story is intriguing overall. I think my main problems with it so far is just they've made some odd writing choices and decisions for characters, and I think some of the relationships haven't been built properly yet, and I'm waiting for that more to kick in. But right now, the story has interested me. I'm hoping we get now an episode that takes a little bit longer in the sense that the villain has already killed half of the people they want to kill. So I'm hoping that we just get a bit more time with the next one and we get to have an impact there, because the last two, they did not hold an impact to me whatsoever. So I'm guessing that they're going to end up killing the next Jedi, but I'm hoping that that one at least has a bit more impact to it and we get to form a connection there, and that death actually becomes meaningful. We also got the introduction of a new character in Khmer. I'm very much thinking that this guy is the villain and the master of May. Very much a big connection between the two. He knew about everything that was going on. He's given her the information for where the Wookiee Jedi is. There's a lot that was shoehorned into that one episode about this new character for him not to have a major connection to the show at large. So but then of course they were hinting at like another he, which just didn't make sense and was very contradictory. I'll be impressed if they can fix that and make it sound like it works, but so far it just feels like it's meant to be a misdirect, but it doesn't feel like one. But yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to this episode in the sense that I'm hoping it is almost a chase between the good guys and the bad guys to try and find this new Jedi. Everyone knows who the next target is because May didn't kill Sol, so obviously they're going to go after the next one. And now the good guys know that May is trying to kill 4 Jedi. They know who the other Jedi is, so now everyone should be trying to get to this person to either protect them or kill them. I just think that would be a good way to continue the story after setting some stuff up and I guess giving some breather and allow for what's happened between at the end for Sol and Osha, where Osha has betrayed them, and let May get away and just give that a chance to just let that linger in their relationship, because it was one of good trust and now that trust has been broken. I want to see how that sort of messes with their dynamic now. But yeah, as always, if you do enjoy this video, please remember to like, subscribe, it really does help the channel to grow. And if you do enjoy my content and you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon, the link will be in the description. Over there I'm uploading these videos and the full reaction a week in advance. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. With that said, let's just dive on in. 16 years earlier, what? We're not going into a chase or whatever? Are we wait, past already? Really? 3rd episode. And there's one of them. Are we gonna see the whole event thing now? What are you doing? That seemed evil.
May? How did you know I was here? When I can't find you?
What are they messing with the animals for?
Let it go, May. Stop!
This giving off psychopathic behavior, animal torture sort of thing. Why is she so open to hurting animals?
You're with me, I am with you. Oshi, I am with you.
Very domineering sister.
How many times have I told you? It is not safe out here.
Sorry, Mother Coral.
That's your mum?
I'm old enough to go outside the fortress walls.
The rules are for your safety.
Is she, what species is she? Is she Darth Maul species?
Quickly.
Oh, that's why it's not safe. You've got Jedi out in the woods. Are we gonna... So she doesn't consider it safe. This is gonna be like seeing how people didn't like the Jedi coming around kidnapping the children to become Jedi or just taking them away. Because that feels very much what the Republic did, but I want to know if like maybe in the past they gave them a choice to go, or if it was that they saw Force-sensitive children and just took them away.
Let them have some spice creams.
Mama!
Okay, so that's the other mum.
My sweet girls must have sweet treats. Don't you think so, Coral?
Tension between those two then.
Meet me in the common room for your training session.
Okay, so I'm assuming adopted children, because they obviously look like one of them and not the other.
I told you this planet would be safe haven for our coven.
Coven? Oh yeah, they are just all women here. So is it, so Coven, witches? Is witches? Like Night Sisters?
Firm hand is required.
Osha is testing her boundaries. It's normal behavior for a child.
Okay, so there's the conflict. One believes the one is too lenient, one believes the other is too strict.
All living things are connected by the same thread, woven through all of existence.
Huh? Is that how you describe the Force?
Some call it a force and claim to use it. But we know thread is not a power you wield.
Okay, so they are making claims that the Jedi are wrong about the Force? That's incorrect. Force made Anakin after all. So they're trying to teach the children combat, how they use the Force for combat. They don't realize they're using the Force, they're calling it the thread.
Your enemies will not warn you before they attack.
Oh, really? Is that only one of them doing it?
Osha, I expect more from you.
Mean. I'm still hung up on the fact that they think the Jedi are wrong about using the Force. So they're just dumb, I guess, when it comes to learning what the Force is. Yes, they can use it, but they're using it wrong then.
I don't want to do the Ascension, but that's how we become witches.
Okay, so they are probably just calling themselves witches.
I don't know if I want to be a witch. Of course you want that. No, you want that.
Girls,
Okay, so what they set up, you have one that wants to be witch, one who doesn't. So one's that, okay, already setting up a good divide between the sisters, and they aren't the same, they are individuals. That does give more to Osha then. That basically means that she has her own, she's an individual. She likes going a different way.
tell her you love her.
I love you. I love you. Don't be afraid, Oshi.
I don't think,
Ascension is about walking through fear. It is about sacrificing a part of yourself, the power of many.
what is a ceremony? I don't think she was saying she didn't love her sister. She just said she didn't want to do it.
But that is because you are young. The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us.
Okay, so you're blaming her fear on the fact that she's young, not that she might just be different.
You and your sister are special, Osha. I want you to stay special.
That feels manipulative, saying that she will not be special unless she stays with the witches. That's not great. What is that? It's a hole in the ground?
Because we're not the same. Of course we are. No, it feels that way because we're the only children here.
Not even made those two sort of look at each other. It's definitely a weird environment to grow up without any other children. That doesn't seem great.
Everything I need is here.
But yeah, May is coming off as very parasitic. That's not the right word. She basically just wants them to be the same person. It's the whole twin thing. She doesn't want them to separate, and Osha does want to become her own individual. She sees this as basically becoming, her and May becoming one, which she does not want. What are you doing to the hole? What significance does the hole play in this? What the? Okay, not gonna say that wasn't weird.
Tonight we enact a ceremony we have not performed since our exile. Or because some would consider our power dark.
Interesting. Well, it depends what kind of side you're using, light or dark.
You were blessed with a miracle, the gift of life.
What'd you say? Blessed miracle, gift of life. What does that mean? I'm still hung up on the hole. What does the hole mean? Why do they put so much emphasis on it?
Come, claim your destiny.
So we did get some lore on these people that they were exiled because they considered their power dark. So they used the Force. They also did some dark things and were pushed out of society for it. And then they found each other. And they still think the thread is what the Force is. So they are wrong about that.
The power of two. The power of many.
Oh dear.
The power of many.
What is this? This just feels cringy.
Vow upon my death, protect the secrets of our coven and continue our legacy.
So she's your heir? Okay. Oh, what was on earth with this scene? Oh, no, I don't like this. Is so bad. Someone made this one, thought this looked cool? And you branded your child.
Ascend.
It's like their baptism thing. The Night Sisters one was way cooler when they baptized Ventress. They had all the green stuff. This is just weird. You can barely see what the Force stuff they're doing.
My death to protect the secrets of our coven and continue our legacy.
Right, so they're both meant to be your heir. So you don't want that.
Two.
That was not convincing. Don't sing again, please.
Mama!
Oh, few interruption.
Jedi!
They will be here any moment.
Hide them.
Do not move. Do not make a sound.
Yeah, they don't want the Jedi taking their children. Okay.
Put down your weapons.
No violence.
Okay, a lot of Night Sister vibes, even with the bow and arrows. But the Night Sisters were so much cooler. And there's the Force. Whatever happens, happens soon. It's gonna give like the other ones that are dead more emphasis or anything. I still don't feel like their death has any meaning to me whatsoever right now.
I am Master Indara, and these are my colleagues, Sol, Kelnaka and my Padawan Torben.
Oh, he's a Padawan at this point.
We thought this planet was uninhabited.
The all-knowing Jedi were ignorant of their surroundings.
That's passive aggressive.
We mean you and your coven no harm.
And yet here you are, unannounced, armed.
So are you.
Republic law states
Brendok is not a part of the Republic.
There are no children here.
They can sense it and they can probably see it. So it's obvious that they'd be afraid people would train children in the dark side and form a dark side army. Depends what side these people are on. I get what they're trying to make this feel like. They meant to make it feel like the Jedi are trying to steal the children away and train them how they want to train them. But it's very clear that whatever this was, it was freaky and weird.
What is your name?
Usha.
Usha. My name is Saul.
So that's how they met.
May we meet your sister?
He did see them, but they could have just thought it was one. So then so wouldn't the witches know they're kind of lying then, because they know about the whole sister thing, so they know about the children. Yeah, that means they would have seen them. Yeah, it's nothing.
Where is their father?
They have no father.
Adopted, yeah.
That marking, it wasn't there this morning.
You're spying on us?
They want to take our children!
Our?
Jedi do not take children.
Hold your tongue or I cut it out for you!
Yeah, who's being more hostile here at the minute? Oh. This is going to give her an escape because she wants to be her own person, and this is giving her the option.
I think you would make a very good Jedi, Usha. Would you like to be tested and see if you could become one?
That's a lot of like ifs and stuff, nothing definite. That was fine, that was good. That makes the Jedi look good. What the? Black eyes?
If you want your Padawan returned to his right mind.
That's dark. That is dark side.
You cannot deny that Jedi have the right to test potential Padawans. With your permission, of course.
Okay, what is this episode trying to do? They're trying to make the Jedi look like the bad guys, yet they make these witches do that? That is very much dark side.
The scouts will bring Osha to your camp at midday.
Both girls, her sister too.
Why are they trying to make the Jedi look like the bad guys here? This is weird.
We appreciate your cooperation.
Okay, so are they going into it where this isn't going into making the Jedi look like they just take whatever children have the Force? It's not going into all the Jedi in the past, whatever children show up with the Force, they would take them. They're at least giving options and testing them. This feels very much more in line with modern Republic.
Osha wants to do it.
Osha is a child.
She is old enough to know what she wants.
So you've changed. You thought she was too young.
Changed monks.
It is not your decision. It is mine, and I've made it.
Ooh, overruling.
I carried them.
What?
I created them.
What?
Let the Jedi discover how you created them.
What? It's not adoption?
Has two outcomes.
Okay, old lady trying to distract me from that. What on the world did they just say?
If we want them to stay.
What? Are they saying that they created the children through the Force? That is incredibly dumb, writing-wise, with lore and Anakin.
The Jedi are bad. The Jedi are good.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
Okay, no, you're a bunch of idiots. What on earth is this doing? It's not about power and who gets to wield it. It's about light and dark. Jedi are the good guys who use the light side of the Force, which is good. It's not about balance. The light side is the good side. Dark side is very much evil. Yes, you have those who can use the dark side for good, but still, they're using some evil stuff for good. It's common, just moral rationalization. You can, if someone's attacking you and you have to kill them to stop them attacking you, it's still a bad thing to kill someone, but overall it's a good thing because it's self-defense. It's still a bad action, but it's still in line of good. That is how I'm understanding the Force and how like someone like Luke can go back into the dark side a little bit to come out of it and do good. It's still a bad thing to do, but it's still good overall. They're saying this is about power, and they're just saying that the light and dark doesn't matter, and it's just power. How misguided is this tribe of backward savages?
I want to say what's in my heart. You have to lie.
Nay! You will go first!
That mother is very, very angry, and I'm hard to process. I'm not even processing the whole thing about Anakin and Force-created children 100 years earlier. That makes Anakin a whole lot less special, no matter what. So these people use the Force to create children, whereas the Force just created Anakin. So that's a thing that can just happen, that someone can just make people. What does this mean for like Palpatine, who keeps trying to make clones of Force-sensitive people? Why can't he just do this? So she lied about being the test and whatever, so...
We're ready for you.
And now that's a look at her sister to tell her to lie.
In this test, you must divine what images appear on the testing screen. Tell us what you see.
So checking force, yeah.
A spaceship.
Lying, like May did.
A mountain.
You know she's lying.
Correct.
That wasn't a
There we go.
Your family doesn't want to be separated from you.
Yeah, and the one mum keeps flip-flopping on whether or not it's her choice if she's too young and all this. To the child, she says that she's too young, and then to the other mum, she says that it's her choice. What is with that? What on earth is the writing in this episode?
I was different from my family. The Jedi saw how special I was.
You're getting into her mind, hitting all the right spots, hitting the different. She's not the same as May because they're twins, so you're different, so you want to go and do something different.
But when I joined the Jedi, I found out there were many other children like me.
Again, hitting the right spots because she hasn't grown up around any children because apparently they were created through the Force.
But you must have the courage to say what you want.
I like they're brushing past the whole Force created thing far too quickly.
I want to be a Jedi.
So she said she wants to be a Jedi. Great and wonderful.
Then you must have the courage to tell the truth.
We should continue the test.
Why is Saul the only one that's coming off as nice? Why does every other one just feel so distant and cold? It's not adding anything to their death. If they were somewhat nice, I could feel, oh, maybe it's a shame that they died. It still just means nothing. Why are the writers so hell-bent on trying to make the Jedi look like bad guys here? And now you know that she lied, and so, yeah, you're a little psychopath. May is coming off as so evil, even as a child.
Mama, she promised she would fail, and she broke her promise.
You little rat.
I told him I wanted to be a Jedi because I do.
You don't mean that.
I do.
Girls are telling this child what on earth they want.
I don't want to be a witch. What's wrong with you?
Instead of trying to fight your sister.
Take a walk with Mother Coral.
But Mama! What's wrong with you?
Violent child! Are you going to be nice and accepting now and flip-flop back to letting her go?
Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force. You get to make a choice.
Why are they trying to make it seem like they know better than the Jedi when it comes to the Force?
If you want to pull the thread, then pull it.
Are they trying to just go very in-depth into the culture of these witches being that they just don't see the Force as the Force, but as how they see it? It would make more sense if they weren't trying to badmouth what the Jedi believe the Force to be. I mean, we see even the Night Sisters recognize it as the Force. They just use the dark side of the Force to use magic. That is what they do. Why can't you use the Force to do it? I feel like the Force has been around long enough for people to understand a universal understanding of it. So you're letting it go? So you flip-flopped again? Great.
But we will consider your wish when we do so.
I guess a positive of this is that the acting's pretty good. It's just the writing is just so bad. They really took a nosedive for this episode, didn't they? I can't remember what that symbol was. I think it's Republic.
I won't let you leave. You can't go. We're stuck here now. It's not up to you.
Now, what'd she say?
Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you.
Okay, she's a psychopath.
Hey, give me back!
Locked in the room. May's evil. So you'd rather your sister die than leave? Okay, so she does actually start the fire. What on earth is her justification for what she's doing in the present? Okay, that's... Is that stone walls? How? I mean, yes, there's some wood in here, but that's stone. How? The floor is stone, right?
No.
That wall is literally stone. That's stone. What kind of flammable stone is this place made of? It's stone. First you have fire in space, now we have stone on fire. And you have the little psychopath May trying to kill her sister. There's not really any explanation for this. She fully tried to kill her sister. That's psychopathic. As a child. I guess the whole stone building is burning. An explosion. That's gonna blow up. Ah, and that's where you think she died, but somehow she lived.
Osha! Hey!
And you're here.
Osha! Come over to me!
Wait, no, she's not dead. What's happening?
Mama's dead. What have you done? What have you done? What have you...
And they blame each other.
Osha! Me!
And stand there, or does she think that she died? Okay, nicely done, I guess.
We must keep going.
And they were just dead like that. Well, that clearly wasn't fire that killed him. Oh, yep, dead again. Okay, well this clearly set up that the Jedi are the bad guys. They killed the others because they didn't burn to die. So they're dead. And Jedi did it. That's why May blames them. Yeah, this whole episode tried to make the Jedi look to be the bad guys. Is that it? Is it over? Nope.
Mama?
Nope, she did. Apparently killed by Jedi, because that was not... They weren't burned to death. They were fully intact. Smoke inhalation probably too fast.
You're going to be okay.
It'd explain why May hates them, because May wasn't with Osha during when they died, obviously.
They started a fire. It destroyed everything.
And now you're lying.
It killed.
Mama, May, no.
Why is this trying to make the Jedi... Why is this story making the Jedi look like the bad guys?
You'll be safe on Coruscant. And if you wish, your train as my bottle.
If you wish, still giving the option.
You will never feel like this again.
What was the intent of writing this episode? What did they think this was meant to mean? Still not ending. And there's a little psychopath. Oh, finally it's ended. What in the world did I just watch there? That was bad. That was really bad. I'm trying to think of like positives that have come from that. I feel like the only one might be the acting from the actors. That was good. But good acting in a dreadful story doesn't exactly make up for it. That whole episode, it was trying to make the Jedi look like the bad guys. Yes, they aren't the greatest at this point because of their corruption. That is fine. That I'm on board with. This tried to make them out that their whole culture and the whole Jedi religion is bad. That apparently is the plague to the galaxy. That everyone should be like these witches and be able to practice whatever they want and do this sort of thing with their own understanding of the Force. By that logic, the Sith should be allowed to do whatever they want. Night Sisters should be able to do whatever they want. There isn't a prevailing goodness. That means morality is meaningless. Like this episode even, yeah. This, I mean, it's bad writing, but it also contradicts itself. Again, you have this witches who are trying to be portrayed as the good people here. They're the good in this scenario, right? You have them trying to... Yeah, they're basically only good because they make the Jedi look bad. But they even show that they use the dark side of the Force with making the one Padawan... I'm not going to remember his name because they're that meaningless to me because they have not been well written. The Padawan Jedi, they made his eyes go black and they took control of his mind. That is very evidently dark side. That could not be more dark side. That is very clearly dark side. What more reason do you have for these guys to be considered enemies when you're whole dealing with the Force? They even try to make it... There's like so many lines in this. You have the way of dealing with the Force. Yes, I'm fully fine with them being able to view the Force as something else. Different cultures can view the Force very differently. Fine with that. It also means they're wrong, though. The Jedi, basically, we have confirmation they see it correctly. The Force itself, its very thing, chose to make Anakin. That, and then basically led him into the Jedi. The Jedi found him. That was very much Force prophecy. That was, yeah, the prophecy as well. It's very much super clear the Jedi are the correct side. The Sith are only there because they like power and they're evil and they see the Jedi's getting in their way because the Jedi will stop them because they do the will of the Force of getting rid of the evil that is trying to use the Force for evil and use it against the Force's will. That makes sense? The Jedi are good because they follow the will of the Force, the will of the sentient Force within the galaxy. The Sith, on the other hand, try to influence the Force through their own will. Their will for power, for immortality. That is what they do. They go against the will of the Force and they use it for their own purpose. That is what makes them evil. That doesn't mean they're morally ambiguous. It just means that they're evil. And the Jedi are good because they have to go and stop the dark side wielders. It doesn't mean that only Sith are dark side are the evil. It is any dark side user because they are specifically using the Force for their own will and going against its will. So these guys, calling it a thread, not only misunderstand what the Force is, perfectly fine, they can misunderstand the Force all they want. Just means their culture isn't that well developed and they don't understand the Force clearly enough, because we know what the Force is. Then they try and make it seem like the Jedi are the ones that misunderstand the Force, which that has no backing to it whatsoever. And then they even go as far as to use the dark side to attack Corbin. Is that his name? Was that a planet's name? The Padawan, they go and attack the Padawan with the dark side of the Force, revealing that they are truly using the Force for the dark side. So any audience member who knows what the Force is, very clearly sees that they are the dark side. Just this episode kind of just went to show that the writer doesn't understand the Force. But yeah, I guess this episode did make the last two look good. That's one thing, it made them look a whole lot better than whatever this was. This also messes with the lore as well, with Anakin being being the one created by the Force and how impactful that is. The Chosen One related to the prophecy, which confirms that the Jedi's view of the Force is correct because that did come true. The Force created Anakin with no one no one created Anakin with the Force. The Force just did it through its will. And then here you have someone going above and beyond that, where they've used their will to create life and people without biological stuff. So they've been able to do what the Force couldn't do. Not couldn't do, they've just done it through that. It's just, whatever it is, it's so not correct. I really need to organise my thoughts on this because this is... right now I'm more volatile than anything from just thinking about all this. It doesn't work. My head from watching this is just full of contradictions in whatever this is trying to portray. Yeah, do not like that the twins are Force created, because what does that mean? That means that Anakin is no longer as special. He's not the only one that's created by the Force. So, okay, Anakin is less special now. That is one thing. Then you also have the will of the Force is what created Anakin. No one else. It was the Force's will that wanted Anakin to be alive. Because it could sense that the dark side was growing, so it made something to counteract it. That is what it did to try and restore balance. It could sense what was going to come with the Empire, so it needed someone to overthrow it to bring balance back to the Force. That's what it did, because it is sentient. Here, you have someone use the will of the Force. Rather than the Force have its will be to create Anakin, its will was not to create these children. It was someone else's will, which means this is also dark side. They use the dark side to create life. That's not good. Okay, now that I've gotten my thoughts together, I think I should start off with a positive, and it's kind of the only positive of this episode, and that is that it at least did develop Osha's character. We got to see their past. We got to see that May is very overbearing, and she wanted the twins to basically be one person, which obviously pushed Osha aside because she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to be May. She doesn't want to be both of them. She wants to be herself and grow as an individual. So she wants to look at the galaxy. She wants to explore everything. She wants to find who she is aside from May and the witches, and she wants to be something else. So I like that we at least got that. Now we have a backing for her character that was missing from the first two episodes. We know that she has a longing to be different and to be herself, because for her whole life up to this point, she was basically May's shadow. So I like that we at least got that, and it at least builds Osha a little bit. May, we got more on her, and it basically confirmed she's a psychopath. She started the fire, told her sister that she wanted to kill her instead of letting her leave, and she actually tried to kill her, so that's attempted murder there, so she's very clearly evil villain. This didn't really give any redeeming qualities to May. It just showed that she's very overbearing, she's very evil, and it shows that, I guess, the event and storyline it sets up, it doesn't give any justification for what May's doing, really. It shows that she is evil. She'd try to kill her sister. There's not really love there. And if they did get back together, I would assume May would just try and make Osha her shadow again. But yeah, then I will say bad thing about character-wise stuff. The Jedi got nothing. Their deaths are still very meaningless to me. Even the one that isn't dead yet, the Wookiee, nothing from him. It didn't really give anything else to their character, and it makes their deaths still so meaningless. When this was an opportunity to actually give them something, to let them be something else than just the random Jedi that May killed. So I'll say that is disappointing, but at the very least, it did something for May and Osha, and it got their characters a little bit more defined. But yeah, then I guess looking at the story of this episode, it was just bad. It was just so bad. So the origin is that the twins were created by the Force for this coven of witches, that there's no other children around. They were this coven, they were exiled. Oh, this is bad. They were exiled from their societies because what they were considered to be dark. They proved to be dark, so they were rightfully exiled, and they found each other and formed a coven to continue practicing being dark. That is what I've gathered from this. And they wanted children for some reason to, I guess, continue their numbers. That's kind of the only reason. Then if they wanted to do that, why not do what the Night Sisters did? They did it much better. They subjugated a race of males and basically became a matriarch on a planet. They used these males to breed and add to their numbers. That was what the Night Sisters did. Much better than what this was. Didn't impact the lore, and it still worked. Yeah, I think this is just such a bad origin for these characters. what was it necessary to... this does not feel necessary to make the twins Force-born children. Anakin should be the only one because it makes him special. It's meaningful to him. This is not meaningful to them whatsoever. What's the difference from them being found and adopted by the witches rather than them being created by the Force? It adds no meaning or significance other to the idea that you're trying to make these witches practice the Force seem like the correct one, when it isn't. It just feels like the writer wanted to challenge the idea of the Force, which didn't need to be challenged. What this episode tried to do ended up being pointless, because they just didn't understand what... I feel like I've gotten a better understanding of what's happened, even though I've barely seen any of it. Because yeah, the Force is very clearly established. We know what the Force is, and this has tried to challenge something that's very well defined and that doesn't need to be challenged. What's the point of challenging it? What did you want to change? What was the goal of this? Did you want to say that anyone can create life from the Force and do that? Can anyone use the Force for their own will? Can anyone do that and just still be considered good? What point does that leave the Jedi? What is their whole thing then? Yeah, what this episode tried to do was conflate culture and religion and make them the same thing. The Jedi is a religious organisation. That's what they are. They follow a set of beliefs and traditions to do the Force. Their thing that is not... I wouldn't say they worship it. It's their worldview. That's what they base their values around. That is a religion. But the witches, they're a culture. They're not a religion. It's not something... They're trying to say that the thread is what's practiced as a religion, and that somehow makes a little more sense looking at them as a religion rather than a culture. But if they're a religion... Okay, I think it's slightly better if you think about the witches as a religion. They have a set of beliefs and practices that they follow, but no, it's not a religion, it's a cult, because they don't let people in or out. They don't let people leave. They can let people in, like these children, but they don't let them leave. It's a cult. That's what this is. It's a cult. The Jedi are a religion because people can come and go. They don't like it, but they still allow it. Which just begs the question of what on earth these writers were doing in trying to make the cult look like the good guys here. That is such a mess in what on earth they were trying to accomplish. So the witches are a cult. That's what they are. Jedi are religion. That's the battle that's being had here. Of course, we know that the Jedi are correct. What they are doing is the right way to do it. The witches, on the other hand, are completely wrong. We know that. They're using the Force as it shouldn't be used, and the Jedi are the ones that use it correctly, doing their will onto it. But for some reason, the writer has decided to go against that and say that, oh, no. The Jedi, it's up to interpretation. The Jedi might be wrong. This other cult religion might be correct. And at the end of the day, it just means the witches are wrong. I'm just stuck on what the point of this was. Why add this to the Star Wars universe? Yes, you can have other subsets of Force wielders around, but the audience knows that they are incorrect in what they do, or at least the ones they've done. We've got the Sith, we've gotten the Night Sisters, I guess we even have the Mountain Clan as well from Tales of the Empire. Each of them use the Force, and they understand it as being the Force. They haven't, and none of them have tried to say that their way is the correct way and go against what the Jedi's way is. This one has deliberately tried to suggest that theirs is the correct way. There was a line from the mother, like the main mother, the mother of the clan, whatever, the cult. Some believe that it is a Force to be wielded, but we know it as the thread. So they're saying that theirs is the correct way through that. They're wrong. And then that can be done. That can be worked well, because then you could show from the story that they have been proven incorrect. This didn't do that. They tried to show that the Jedi were the bad guy, which then makes the witches look correct when the audience knows that they're not. There's very much a void between the person writing this and the target audience for this show. I feel like this could work well on its own, just without Star Wars attachment and all the rules that have been previously established, but it does not work with it, which just means it doesn't work. But yeah, so looking at the thread, because I feel like it might be worth looking at what the thread is meant to be. I'm guessing the inspiration is string theory. So they're saying that everything is made up of a thread, which is basically, I believe string theory is meant to be that everything is connected through a thread, and that matter and reality is shaped through vibrations of the thread. So like on a guitar, if you were to strum the strings, it creates a vibration, which creates sound. That is what I think is what string theory is meant to suggest, that everything is made up of strings, and when the strings interact, it does stuff. I'm not a person that knows string theory. That is my understanding of it. That is what I'm guessing this was inspired by. Thread making up the universe, connecting everything sounds like string theory. So from that inspiration, you'd suggest that this is correct because that's the leading theory of how the Earth is and reality is created or forged or is able to actually just function. So again, it just feels like this clan or cult is meant to be the correct thing that's in the galaxy. So even, I don't understand how they can think of it as a thread. Every action that they didn't show it as a thread, but as a force. They were forcing each other away. They were using the force, like a force to move things. That is what they were doing. They weren't like using puppet. They would have made more sense if they were actually just using strings to do things, and it visually looked like the force had shaped itself as strings as they saw it. They were actually using it as a force, not a string. Even the whole dark side thing with the possessing the Padawan, that would have made so much more sense if they used it as a puppet string, like a marionette sort of thing, where they held their hand out like a marionette to like puppet them around and take control of them like that. That would have made far more sense in the idea of a thread rather than a force. And I would have bought that more. They have taken the force and they've used it and turned it into something else through their will. It makes sense of the dark side, but it also at least makes sense in the way they're writing it, that they're trying to make it appear like a thread. So far, it just does not look like a thread. It looks like everything we've known from the Force. Yeah, then I guess the most egregious thing about this episode would be the twins being made from the Force through the will of a person. That sets up so much stuff in the way that just means anyone who's powerful enough in the Force can create life through the Force and just go against nature. That inherently is dark side. The Force is like nature. It's what sustains life. It's in everything. It's in everything alive and everything that is made up of reality. It's in rocks and everything. The Force is everywhere and everything, and its will is the will of nature. It created Anakin, so it's going with nature. So it inherently is a dark side thing, what has just been done here. Anakin was at least created through a very least neutral or light side or whatever the Force is doing there. No, I would say it's light side because in response to the dark side growing. Yeah, Anakin's creation was light side. This was inherently dark side. So that means Osha and May's entire existence is defined by the dark side now. That is what this has now done. I feel like the writers haven't looked deeply into what they've written and what that means going into it. Because like, they can write it, but then with something as big as Star Wars, that has other things that go into it, which then allow your thoughts to expand it. And the minute you expand this even slightly and look at some of the biggest parts of Star Wars, it crumbles and it makes it all look evil. Like they tried to write these guys as the good guys, and now looking at larger Star Wars, it clearly makes them evil. Yeah, then I guess this goes into the Jedi and how this show, for some reason, has decided to make them the bad guys, which, yeah, I mean, yes, we know that the Jedi aren't great at least even in this point in time, that they were corrupt, but they didn't realize it. This basically just seems they were outright evil, and they sort of were okay with the evil that they brought. This clearly sets up that the Jedi are the ones that killed the witches because they weren't burnt, didn't look like smoke inhalation, and they were just laid down in a very weird way. So it seems like they were killed, and that would link to why May's angry at them, even though she's a psychopath who started the fire, and then of course she's angry at the Jedi because they killed her family and they blamed it all on her. So that obviously explains her story. But why on earth would you need to make the Jedi look like the bad guys in such an obvious way? At least the prequels did it in a nuanced way, where you got to see that they are trying to do good, but they are misguided by what they're doing. That's nuance. There's just outright saying everything the Jedi do are evil. No matter what, the Jedi practice as a whole is evil. Their view of the universe, what they set out to do, is inherently evil. That is what this did. I mean, you can't even blame it on a specific Jedi that might be misguided, because they are not written well enough. You could literally replace any of these Jedi with anyone else, and it wouldn't change anything. And that is what makes it so universal now to all Jedi, that this practice as a whole is not good. Because of what they did. They try to take children away. They don't listen to people who know better in the Force. That is what this episode did, and it is not good. So far, the only thing consistent with this show is its contradictions in writing. That is what makes it so bad. The show manages to contradict itself, and now is also contradicting the rest of Star Wars. It does not sit well within it. Yeah, the writing I guess just looking at the writing in this, it's just bad. Seeing how the characters flip-flop from doing one thing or the other, it feels like we have a bunch of psychopaths now running around Star Wars. First we had Hemlock, now we have May. Don't think May is that good of a psychopath. I mean, she's a child. I mean, it looks okay-ish, but then growing up, she does not seem like Hemlock whatsoever. So it's obviously things have changed there. And again, it's the inconsistency with that. If someone's going to be a psychopath, that's something that stays with them throughout their entire lives and they don't really experience change or empathy. Like the writing for the main mother leader of the cult as well. Her whole thing was that she kept flip-flopping between, oh, letting the child know what's right. Oh, she's too young, she'll grow out of it. Oh no, she is right. Oh no, she can go off and just whatever. That was annoying, just how much she flip-flopped over that. And that's the stone thing. Yes, you can have bad writing, but do these writers not understand how fire works, like at all? First, you have it in the atmosphere, or in space. That I could forgive, because it was the one thing. Just having fire in space, not an atmosphere, burning like a campfire was so stupid. And now you have it burning stone. Stone doesn't burn. It's why in very traditional looking campfire imagery, you have a stone circle around it, because the fire won't spread outside of the stones, because the stones will not burn. Now they have built a giant stone fortress, which somehow has burnt, and just a giant fire has spread everywhere. It just makes the writers look so stupid that something as simple as that they haven't bothered to look up. Can stone burn? Google it and it will give you a very clear answer. Overall, I can't believe that the worst episode is already the third one that has gotten this bad so quickly. I mean, the last two, this is made look a lot better, but those two weren't good at all. This is just taking a massive nosedive, and it is very, very bad. I mean, I will continue watching the show, and I might just look at it in a more comical sense, because this was comically bad. Just there was that one scene with the chanting and all that. That was bad. That was so cringy and bad. I mean, this isn't just one person who's made this, right? You have like a main writer, but it's a lot of collaborative work. People have to see this, review it, think, okay, yeah, this looks good. You have a bunch of actors performing this weird cult chanting scene, thinking that looked cool, that sounded great, and that had to be filmed. People filming it had to think that was good. Then it had to go into review, it had to be directed, it had to be reviewed, edited, all that, and then sent, and actually had a screening where people thought, okay, yeah, this is something that is good to put out. They thought that was good. I mean, the thing I'm comparing it to in my mind now is Sarge Ventress's baptism to the Night Sisters. It's basically the same thing. They're baptizing the new members to the cult. That's what it is, and they're doing a ceremonial force-related thing. Ventress's actually looked good, and it was actually cool. This was just so bad. But I will say this has made me interested to see where the show will go now. Might sound surprising, but I want to know if this is actually the worst episode. I want to know if it can go... I want to know if it can just get worse from here. I want to know if it can get better. I'll be happy if it could get better. Still wouldn't make the show good. This has kind of ruined it for me. But just thinking, I want to know how it can connect with the lore. Now you have two Force-born children running around. I want to know what this does, and if it does actually get better at all. But yeah, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought about this particular episode in the comments. I'd love to know what your opinions of it are. If you disagree with me, I'd love to know why. Why do you think this is good, I'll say? Why do you like it? Why do you think it works with the lore? I've got a lot of questions. I want to know if my understanding is correct in what's been going on here, or like why was this done? I don't know what other people think of this. I don't want people to get pushed away because we have different opinions. I want to talk about this. I want to know what could make someone like this. I want to know if anyone agrees with me in just thinking about it like this. But yeah, please let me know what you thought in the comments. And with that said, I will see you in the next episode. See ya.